Hey everyone, here we are for Worthiness Matters, our joy based spirituality workout. That is a 30-day workout. We're on day number 22. It is April 22nd, 2022. And today, F bombs are likely to drop during this video. Why? Not because I'm angry or upset or anything, but because I just made a visit to the Groovy Goat. And at the Groovy Goat, F bombs are dropped generously in so many places. They are on cups and mugs and paintings and all kinds of things up here in Mentone, Alabama on Lookout Mountain. And so I got into an F bomb mood while I was with my friend Christy, who is the proprietor of the shop, of said shop. Now, I want you to remember we have our trifecta of spiritual connection, healing trauma, and peak performance, otherwise known as praying, cussing, living, laughing, and loving. I think you can see it. Dealing with trauma, you're cussing. Dealing with spirituality, you're praying. And at peak performance or being authentically yourself in full self expression, you're living, loving, and laughing. And so, with that in mind, I want to share with you a couple things I got from the Groovy Goat. Oh my God, I was waiting for her to have another one in because she had ran out. And I came home with a jar of give a fucks. And what you do is you open it and you offer people a fuck to take home with them or not. Depends if you give a fuck or not. So, anyway, there we have a whole jar full of fucks. This is my dream come true. Reverend Sassy Shorts is in the house with Consuelo, clearly. And I wanted to share with you the other thing I got there. So as I was leaving, she said, well, I feel like you really need to take this home with you too. So she gifted me with magical unicorn poop. Magical unicorn poop, which I will be playing with for the rest of our time together here. And came home with real fresh eggs from the mini farm that she and her husband run. They're expecting a baby goat any day soon. One of the goats is pregnant, of course. And what does all this have to do with? And they just got two puppies and they have a bunch of chicks. Like it's crazy at their house. It's crazy. It's awesome. And they have a hedgehog. What does this have to do? What does any of this have to do with worthiness matters? Well, sometimes, some days, worthiness is just extremely frivolous. Worthiness matters. I want to know what I'm interested in is what makes you giggle? What makes you go, woo woo, that was awesome. That was fun. What is badass contagious to you? Ooh, there's a mug there. I'm kind of thinking I might have to go back and get it. I don't know. It says, something, and then there's a donkey, which means ass, but now I can't remember what it says. Badass. It says bad, and then there's a donkey. So anyway, it's a cute mug. I don't need another mug though. So magical unicorn poop. What is it that livens you up, that makes you feel just giggly and silly and fun? And maybe for you, F bombs aren't your thing. That is totally cool. But what is it for you that makes you feel whimsical, frivolous? Some people have taken offense to the word frivolous. I think frivolity is very, 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 very important, especially, it's springtime now. When I first moved up here to Lookout Mountain, I was so blown away that in the springtime there were all these flowers growing from the ground, like at grass level, that if I was walking from like a parking lot to a festival, I couldn't help but step on the flowers. And I used to feel bad about stepping on the flowers. And then I was like, there is so much abundance. There's more flowers everywhere. Everybody was stepping on the flowers. You can't help. In Florida, you don't really do that because there's crabgrass everywhere. That's where I grew up. So you don't step on the flowers. When I was a little kid in New York, in the city, there's gardens. And so you don't step in the gardens. You don't step on flowers. And to me, the flowers are the earth's version of frivolity. And flamingos are the earth's version of frivolity. There is so much frivolity in nature. So while I was going home, there was a pine tree, and it's now growing out these like limbs that make them look like, middle fingers. There's just frivolity everywhere, and I think that, in the zone of worthiness matters, sometimes the tone of it can be kind of serious, because the topic of worthiness brings up feelings of unworthiness. Because why would you be listening to this if you didn't have feelings of some unworthiness to begin with that you're wanting to clean up? But I want to make sure we don't land in the land of seriousness of just trying to mitigate unworthiness and we got to feel worthy. Mm-mm. Um, the idea is to feel playful about your life, to be who you really are in a way that's most fully self-expressed, that is offering the best in you. So when Christy's running her shop with all these F-bombs all around it, it is like, and she buys these products. She doesn't buy anything from any big mega stores. All the products in the store are like from other small businesses, and or they're homemade, or everything in the store is very hand picked. And oh, these were the other two frivolous things that have been making me so happy. This is a birthday card I received a few years ago, and I just am in love with it. It's very, very, very sparkly and shiny, which is hard to see with the lighting here, but it's just so sweet. And then this is one I showed you the other day. I think I posted it here. I just fell in love with it. Look at these French fries. I mean, if the universe isn't frivolous, I don't know what. Art is frivolous. Being alive needs to have more frivolity in today's world, I think. And so I think that one of my favorite people is Iris Apfel. If you don't know about her or you haven't seen her documentary, do yourself a favor. She is like the quintessential queen of worthiness. She just turned 100 years old, and she's on the cover of Vogue magazine. um, she's got these big black glasses, and her fashion sense, she inspired me so much. It's probably why my little Consuela is here in my head today. Um, I went to see her documentary, I think 2 or 3 times in the Independent Theater when I was out in Oregon a few years ago. In the same week, I was just like, I could not get enough of Iris Apfel. Her story literally fed my soul. And like she lived in New York when she was growing up, and when she was young, she would go to Harlem to buy her jewelry rather than going um, to the part of New York where they had like the fancy. I can never say that word, couture. Cannot say that French word. Um, the fancy fashion, and she said that she loved watching the black women come back from church and go and shop and come out of church with all their fancy hats and their colorful dresses and skirts and blouses. And she would go to these stores in Harlem, and she would pick these pieces of jewelry that would literally clink while she was walking, because it just made her happy. And I was listening to a YouTube the other day from one of my favorite, speakers on mental health and mental illness, and his name is Sam Vaknin. And he was saying, if someone is functional within society and they're happy, meaning they can function, they can do what's right for themselves and others, in a healthy manner, that if you're functional and you're happy, you're doing pretty darn good. Don't aim for being perfectly healthy. Don't aim for like things that are way too lofty. What makes you happy? Like, if you're a happy camper and you're functioning, what else is there? Says Happy D with Consuela. You can be at any status level. You could be of any color or race. You could be of any religion. If you're functioning, you could be anywhere in the world. And if we support each other in being functional and happy, we're going to have wonderful, wonderful, wonderful times together. And that's the idea. So I wonder what brings you joy? What brings a sparkle to your eye? What is your version of frivolity? How do you feel about the word frivolity? How do you feel about the F bomb? I'm curious about you. What do you think? Um, I love the phrase, and I'll start closing with this. I love the phrase, to be alive to the joys of living. Are you alive to the joys of living? Are you alive to the joys of living? And if you are, please share with us how you are. And if you're not and you want to be, let us know, and we'll cheer you on. Thank you for being here with me in this very silly Reverend Sassy Shorts conversation. For worthiness matters because worthiness does matter. And worthiness matters because you matter. Worthiness matters because you matter. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.